So I have some exciting news. My tropheus kirza colony bred for the first time. I'm pretty surprised because they're only 1.5 to 2 inches. Normally tropheus and cichlids in general don't breed or get to sexual maturity until much later in life, around 3 to 4 inches, depending on the size of the fish, of their adult size. But let me show you. So I had fed the tank a little heavy one day to make sure that the catfish in the tank, the Synodontis decorus, was getting enough food. So I fed them a little bit more, and then a male was acting strange by sitting like towards the bottom of the tank. He was just kind of hovering on the bottom, and I was keeping an eye because normally that can mean they have bloat. And tropheus are very susceptible to bloat because of their digestive tract. However, later in the day, I counted 9 of them, and I have 10, which means one of them was missing. So I looked around, I fed them the next day, and the 10th one came out, which was a female holding eggs. And if you don't know, tropheus cichlids hold their eggs for 28 days. The females will hold the eggs for 28 days until the babies are ready to be released. Also, tropheus tend to have fewer eggs, but the babies tend to be larger when they hatch compared to like Mbuna and other African cichlid species. So I just fed them to get them all active. That's why the water is a little bit cloudy and there's particulates floating around. Now, unfortunately, the female did swallow the eggs. It is often common for females when they first breed to not be able to hold the eggs for 28 days, as it is very hard on the female at first. I wasn't expecting her to hold the eggs for that long, because normally they will either spit them out or swallow the eggs because they do get hungry. And when I fed the next day, or the next few days, I noticed she was eating with the eggs. And some cichlids, some African cichlids that are mouth brooders, are able to do that by passing food past the eggs, but clearly she was getting hungry only after a few days. So I came in today and noticed that she had swallowed them and all 10 were at the front of the tank, and I fed the tank to make sure she got some food because it is harder on the females. I like to naturally let the fish spit the eggs. I'll either put them in a net box to prevent the male from harassing them further, or to prevent them getting too stressed out, and that way they can just hold the eggs in peace, because oftentimes the male will want to continue to breed. In here, since they're so young and small, it is hard to tell who is a male and who is a female and who is a subadult male, etc., because they're so young. I didn't expect them to breed so early. As you can see, they're not very large. I mean, it's hard to tell on camera, but they're only about, I would say, max 2 inches, 1.5 to 2 inches. Now, they max out at around 6 inches at adult length. So I didn't expect for another year or two before they would start breeding. So I believe it is this female. As you can see, kind of, she might still be holding eggs, as I just noticed that her bottom jaw is still extended, and I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but those would be eggs in her mouth, and she's keeping her mouth closed. So she, I think, still has 1 or 2 eggs. The first batch normally isn't a lot of eggs, as opposed to a female that's been breeding for years, let's say. So I only expected she probably had maybe 5 eggs, because they're small and it's hard for them to lay that many eggs, and they're inexperienced, along with their size, and tropheus just don't have a lot of eggs. So it's pretty exciting that she still has eggs, it looks like, and we will see. I did want to change the rock work in here and come in and clean the tank a bit, but I didn't want her to spit the eggs, and I wanted to show you guys. So I will wait and see how she's doing, and if she can handle another week with the eggs, then normally they're okay to move the tank around and they won't get too stressed, because the longer they hold them for, the more likely they're to continue holding them, in my experience. So it's pretty exciting, and I didn't know that she still had eggs until I started recording and saw that she did, because her mouth was a lot fuller, so clearly she had a lot more eggs before, but it's still awesome. And if I'm gonna let her, since it's her first time, just spit into the tank naturally with the other African cichlids in there, the other tropheus with them. That way she doesn't get too stressed out, because I believe if you take the fish out, put them in a net, or strip them, which is taking the eggs out of their mouth gently in water and having them spit that way, then tumbling the eggs, I believe it can stress them out, and that they'll know that the next time and become more afraid of the net, etc. So if you can let them do it more naturally, I think it's less stressful for the fish and more enjoyable. I just like to put them in a breeding box or a breeding net box. That way they don't have to be harassed by the male. It is looking like this is the dominant male in the tank, as he's showing the brightest colors, most vibrant colors, which is pretty cool. And I am honestly really excited that the female still has eggs, because earlier today I didn't see her holding, and I didn't see any because the bulge under her neck was so small. Hopefully she'll hatch them and we'll have babies in the tank like within a month or so. If not, that just means they're still breeding, and that's pretty exciting. And I don't know if they started breeding because I fed more or just because they were very comfortable. I just thought it was coincidental that as soon as I fed more, they bred, which often means for fish, once they have an abundance of food, that they know they can go ahead and have babies. However, with trophies, you have to be very careful because of their digestive tract. So I just was really excited and wanted to share this with you guys, and I will be showing you the pond as it is set up, has some fish in it, and I just have to do some rock work around it, and then I'll be able to show you guys. But yeah, I am really excited. Hopefully the babies hatch out and they'll be able to swim around the tank, or I'll put them in a grow-out tank and probably add them back to the colony, as I do want to have about 12 in there. And so if she has 2 eggs, hopefully it's 2 babies. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a good day. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.